found. The WMIX Saturday Sports Show on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
Good morning. Glad to have you aboard the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXsports.com. Full house for you this morning here from the FM studio today, looking live upon Mount Vernon. A beautiful sunny morning here in the King City. Time to talk some sports. Chris Hugo with Mike Richardson and Danny Zerwinski in studio today. We're all appear courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Hey, it's what healthcare should be.
Have a decent lineup for you today. We're going to talk with Chris Kays. Of course, Chris Kays is kind of an unofficial historian for the Gold Cup, which is one of the premier Southern Illinois Golf Association events. It takes place this weekend at the Benton Country Club just off of Route 14, should you be interested in watching. We'll talk with Chris about that. Coming up on the program, he'll lead us off here in just a few minutes. We'll also talk with one of the officials of the year, Judy Stark. She is from Benton, of course, a Southern Illinois native with that honor. We'll talk with Mike Austin. We had Mike on a few weeks ago, of course, to talk about the EOA SICA Golf Scramble. I'm trying to remember all the letters in that one. That's kind of an alphabet scramble. But for a good cause, we're going to try to get a final financial wrap-up of just how much money is going to go to kids across the region as a result of this golf scramble. It took place yesterday in Carbondale. We're also going to talk with Hall of Famer Mike Reese, of course, Hall of Fame broadcaster, voice of the Southern Illinois Salukis. We're going to talk about the all new, I guess you could say. It's going to be an all-century team for Southern Illinois football, Saluki football. Of course, what they're going to do is you can vote at SIUSalukis.com. Votes will be accepted through August 11th. Of course, we'll talk with Reese about that coming up at the 9 o'clock hour here on the Saturday Sports Show. We will also have our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. I think we already have that on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. We're on the Twitterverse as well. You can follow us there at WMIX Sports. I like the question this week. Definitely something that should solicit an answer from just about anybody. Of course, this week's, I'm going to go ahead and reveal it now, it's what is your dream car? We all have that car that we've always wanted. We all have that car we've dreamed about and would love to have. Maybe we have it, maybe we don't, but give us your answer at Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports, or hit us up on the Twitterverse again at WMIX Sports. But a beautiful day out there. Will be a lot going on today in the world, and of course the Benton Gold Cup is no different. Like we said, we'll talk about that here in just a moment on the Saturday Sports Show. But this is kind of when the Southern Illinois Golf Association gets into the busiest portion of their schedule. A lot of these golf tournaments taking place weekend to weekend at various golf courses throughout Southern Illinois. But, of course, kind of prefacing the Gold Cup before we talk to Chris Kays, the Benton Gold Cup is one of the prestigious events on that SICA golf schedule.
Following last week after Green Hills, after the SIGA tournament, the main championship was last week. This is one of those that, and Chris will probably bring it up, there's a guy that drives in every year from California to play in this. It's booked, it's loaded, it's a 9-hole course, but everybody comes from miles and states away to play in this thing. It's a really good little course. You can go low on the course, and Chris will bring this up, but you can also get bid as you play because that course has had some nooks and crannies you can really find some trouble in. And again, it's a prestigious tournament and one of those on the SIGA schedule that a lot of the good players from college age, high school age, all the way up to seniors definitely play in each and every year.
Well, and as a 9-hole course, one of the things about the Benton Country Club that I've always appreciated is that even though you're playing the same 9, obviously, to get your 18, and they do a nice job of differentiating the tee boxes so that it does feel slightly like a different 9. And just a great course down there at the Benton Country Club. Of course, the Gold Cup going on this weekend, and it's also, when you think about in the grand scheme of things, it also lures in some senior PGA Tour professionals as well, as Tom Wargo has been known to play in the Benton Gold Cup from year to year. So that is going on this weekend at the Benton Country Club. We'll talk more about that with unofficial historian Chris Kays coming up in just a little bit here on the Saturday Sports Show. In fact, time to go ahead and sneak out for a break. When we come back, it'll be Chris Kays joining us here live on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. It's a Saturday Sports Show appearing courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We'll be back after these.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
The 2014 Chevy Impala is a car like no other. It's a world-class car, and I tell you, Chevrolet really knocked it out of the ballpark with this car. The more we show it, the more we love it. Our customers love it. The design is beautiful. The interior is absolutely gorgeous. The ride and handling is like no other. And for the money, I don't think you can find a better buy out there right now.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
Learn to live healthy, learn to live well, and learn how you can live free from unexpected medical expense with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance and the Page Agency. Health insurance that covers hospital, medical, and surgical expenses offers a wide choice of deductibles and a non-tobacco user discount, too. Rising medical costs don't have to be a problem with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance. This is coverage we hope you'll never need, but you just can't be without. Call the Page Agency at 242-7000 about a major medical health insurance plan today.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com, all presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
He is the unofficial historian of the Benton Gold Cup. We welcome to the program now Chris Case. Christopher, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
A great day for the Gold Cup to transpire, of course, going on today and tomorrow at the Benton Country Club. And, of course, as we talked about earlier, this definitely seems to be one of the more prestigious events on the SIGA golf schedule.
It is. I mean, what a wonderful day for anything to be doing outside. But, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better, week for our festivities to happen, especially going on this weekend.
I look at the Benton Gold Cup, and I know it's a 9-hole course, but as you and I have talked, and you and I have played that course several times, it's a course that can give you a low number, but isn't it also a course that if you're not careful, you can shoot a high number really quickly?
It is a course that really looks like it would lay down to a lot of people. It's short. It's got, for sure one reachable par 5, 2 reachable par 4s. You can cut some corners. You can take some risks. But it's got, a couple holes, especially 3 and 4. This is a dead straight par 4 that if you make a slight mistake, it's going to get you in a very big way.
After a week of pretty nice weather, some rain again last night, the course conditions got to be in good shape. I got to ask this, how thick is the rough heading into the 2-day event?
The rough, I mean, it's kind of patchy. You end up with that, it's the Bermuda rough. You've got some spots here and there where it's thicker than others. During the Pro-Am yesterday, the collars and the greens were not allowing shots to stick up. Everything was pinning the knuckle down. Rough probably about 2.5 inches deep, which is a little bit, that's a lot deeper than what we're used to here. It's allowed the course to really kind of, in a way, kind of bear some more teeth because we're not burnt up. Normally, July, Southern Illinois is not kind to any golf course in Southern Illinois. And being able to, enjoy this cooler weather, you've been able to mow on schedule. You've been able to cut things down a little bit shorter where you need to and let things grow in other places. So the rough is going to cause some challenge for some people this weekend.
A tournament that is obviously booked, filled up, in advance very quickly. Talk about some of the guys that are coming in from all over, not only just Southern Illinois, but other states as well to play in the tournament.
We've got a gentleman that comes back every year. Now, he's a Benton native, but he comes back and drives back every year to California to play in this event. Played in it for several years. He comes back every year. We've got guys who, may have turned pro as a teaching professional. Who come home for yesterday's Pro-Am. There's a lot of people who travel a long way to come home to play in this. And it's just kind of neat because it brings everybody out. And, it's a homecoming for a lot of guys, too.
tournament begins. I know guys have already teed off today. Well, then I know, of course, some of our listeners may be wondering, if you got over 100 some odd golfers, how does that work when you're cycling through guys that are going to play the same 9 holes twice and try to get everybody on and off at an appropriate time?
We'll have some quick rounds this morning, and that will kind of slowly come to a halt this afternoon. The course does a great job as far as keeping the flow going on the course. Like you said, you've got 9 holes. You've got to get 18 in. You'll get a log jam occasionally here or there on 9 as everybody's taking their time on the 18th as they play it the second time around. But, it's a competitive round. You don't like to take a lot of time when you play. But, you're looking at, 4.5, 5-hour rounds when you get into the end of the day as far as the afternoon tee time.
Some of the names, I know Drew Navarro, who recently qualified for the 113th U.S. Amateur, among names that are getting there. So I know Max McDonald, I think, has played in it every year. Talk about some of the names that are coming in again that would ring out in some of the minds of Southern Illinois sports fans as far as golfers are concerned.
Well, this weekend marks Max's 57th Gold Cup, and this is the 62nd overall Gold Cup, if that tells you anything. So he's only missed 5 years since it's been going on. You've got several past champions in the field. Last year's champion, Jeff Miller, who set a new 36-hole scoring record. You've got Joe Davidson, who, he's a senior, but he can flat out play. He shot 63 in 2011 and won a washed-out 18-hole score for that. And you've got past champion Jared Harp, Elijah Fennell, Tom Portner, who you guys are very familiar with, who's got a short game out of this world, who is there to play. You've got Larry Giacone, who was the first Benton resident to ever win the Gold Cup in 1978. He is in the field and playing well. Andy Woods from West Frankfort. It is just a stacked field. And there's not really any other tournament in Southern Illinois that boasts a field this strong. 120 golfers over 2 days, but over almost 60 fights in championship for just the Gold Cup.
I look at this as this tournament's set up. I mean, the final 2 holes at Benton are set up in a way that can provide some excitement. Number 8's a par 4, reachable with a mid to low iron on your second approach shot from the blue tees. You go to number 9, a drivable par 4. The excitement that goes with number 9, how much is there on that final day and groups are coming in as that tournament winds down?
That, the finishing stretch, and in a way, you kind of count 16 in there too. As a short par 3, plays a little bit longer from the backside, plays about 140 yards over water, and it sits up on that ridge so the wind plays it a little bit. It gets to be extremely exciting because, I tell you what, it's hard enough to get a cart to go right around in when you get finished Sunday because everybody's out there following the last couple of groups. 8-18, I don't know if there's a better finishing hole for a tournament than what 9-18 gives you. Like you said, drivable par 4, and it's not like you've got to go out and get a driver and just haul off after 245 yards. Could play around 255 if the pin's in the back and he's on the very back of the box. But, if you need to make up a shot, it certainly gives you the possibility. But then again, with that right side slowed down a little bit, it also gives you the opportunity to put up a really big number and let it fly away if you get a little too heavy with it and send it out right or you send it long. So definitely some excitement. We're expecting some excitement to come down to the 35th, 36th hole this weekend.
I know you're participating in the event. You got a tee time, I think, in the afternoon today to start with. Is your game up to par for the Gold Cup this weekend?
I didn't hear you there.
Hey, is your game up to another for your tee time today? Is your game up to par for this event this weekend?
It's been a little struggle the last week. I think that's always the hard part for the guys from Benton. It's a big event for us. we play host to it. We try to be great hosts to it, the members of Benton Country Club. And I always kind of think that mentally drains us as we, as we gear up for it. But I'd like to go out there and throw a couple of good scores up there, and I get to do double duty as far as go out early this afternoon, take some pictures, get them sent in, and then go worry about my game as far as getting on the practice tee and trying to see what I can do.
Since the golf champion of the year was crowned last weekend, any thoughts on that? I know that had to bring joy to yourself to see Phil Mickelson walk away with that claret jug last week.
Oh, I love the sarcasm. I will say this. I mean, I'm not a big Phil Mickelson fan. I'm a great big Tiger Woods fan. We talk about this a lot. But one thing I will say is there was not a single person who played around like he did, especially the back nine. I mean, he deserved to win it. To play like he did and absolutely flawless. And he didn't really do what typical Phil does. We kind of held our breath and we're wondering, is he going to pull out and yank it into a grandstand or something like that? And he didn't do that. And, I really kind of marked that up to his play the week before. He went over and won the Scottish Open and, really got assimilated to link-style golf. And when you can, throw wedges in there and stop them like that and make the putts that he did, there is no one else who deserves a horse to play at Jug last Sunday. It's Phil Mickelson.
Of course, Chris, you've gained prominence as an official in the sport of volleyball, and of course, Benton native Judy Stark was just announced as the IHSA Official of the Year in girls volleyball. How does that make you feel? I know you've worked with Judy before.
I could not be more proud for Judy. She's been a very she's been a good mentor for someone like me who was young when I got into it, and to see her, she's been in the space the last 2 years. The southern part of the state, not counting the metro, doesn't really get that opportunity, especially in the sport of girls volleyball. And for her to go the last 2 years, and then this year, and, she's the official of the year in the sport of girls volleyball for the entire state of Illinois. I can't say enough good things about Judy and what she's done for the sport, and what she's done, to help me out, to help some of the other officials out. It's just you couldn't find a person who is more worthy than Judy Stark to receive that award.
Well, certainly no doubt about that. And, of course, Chris, time for our WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. And this week's question is, what is your dream car? And please do not say a yellow Xterra.
I will not say the yellow Xterra. I would say I've always been a fan of the BMW 3 Series 2. A BMW 3 Series 2, probably a 325i, to be exact, would be the car I'd like to have sitting in the driveway.
Nice.
And we'll make it yellow for that matter.
Always have to be flashy. Wow. Chris, good luck today at the Benton Gold Cup. Thanks for taking the time to join us as the unofficial historian, and hit 'em straight.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
That is Chris Kays, IHSA official, famed photographer, famed volleyball official, unofficial historian, of course, of the Benton Gold Cup. And when you think about this event on the SICA schedule and the calendar every year, obviously one of the more premier events. But you think of the Benton Gold Cup. For me, I think of Kays just because of the sheer fact that I've never found anybody that knows more about its history that can just recite winners from year to year than Chris Kays. So obviously I feel added a lot to the program this morning. And Benton Gold Cup today, of course, at the Benton Country Club, just off of Route 14 there in Benton as you make your way out of town. Should you want to go down and be a spectator, do have a fundraiser to announce, the Kelly Lewis Memorial Poker Run. Of course, we did a fundraiser for Kelly back on May 9th of 2009, and unfortunately since then Kelly has left us. But it's a Kelly Lewis Memorial Poker Run. It's August the 10th. It's 11 a.m. start time. They're going to start at Dale's Harley-Davidson and roll through Woodlawn, New Minden, Sandoval, back to Mount Vernon. And all proceeds will go to childhood cancer research. That's the Kelly Lewis Memorial Poker Run. Saturday, August the 10th, 11 a.m. start time at Dale's Harley-Davidson. So that'll be a good fundraiser with proceeds going to childhood cancer research. That said, Judy Stark, of course, the aforementioned IHSA Girls Volleyball Official of the Year, will join us coming up next on the Saturday Sports Show. It's all brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We're back after these.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. By now you have heard about our new One Checking product. The new One Account is a high interest earning, free checking account designed for everyone. Unlike other banks that pay interest on higher balance, this account pays interest on all balances. From high schoolers to Warren Buffett, One will work for you. You can talk to one of us at 244-3000 and learn about the details. One, exclusively at Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
Your spine is a miracle of engineering, so when pain strikes, your body is telling you to get help fast. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois is proud to feature their spine care team. Doctors Kowalski and Smith, the professionals at Orthopedic Center, specialize in back and neck pain. So put our spine care team on the job. Find out more online at orthocenter-si.com. Stop the pain, fix the problem, and enjoy life again. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois.
It is time for fireworks, and Ford is setting off explosive savings. Hi, Roy Schmidt Ford dealer, Ford Square, Mount Vernon. Ford has just kicked off their red, white, and U sales celebration, sure to save you a lot of green. The 2013 Ford Fiesta and the Ford Focus are a dynamic duo of high miles per gallon. Right now, you'll find a Ford Fiesta four-door with an automatic transmission ready to get you 39 miles per gallon highway. You'll also find a Fiesta SE with $1,250 in rebates. Or, how about 38 miles per gallon in a four-door 2013 Ford Focus S? Right now, save big with $1,500 in rebates. We are rolling at Ford Square with the Red, White, and U Sales event at 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, where the best never rest. And shop us online at fordsquare.com.
Saturday Sports Show, AM 940, WMIXSports.com. So glad to have you with us as we've hit the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour here on WMIX Mount Vernon. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski and Mike Richardson in studio today, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Very proud to welcome our next guest, of course, IHSA Official of the Year in the sport of girls volleyball and a Benton native. Not often do you see anybody from downstate, let alone the 618, get an honor that they so richly deserve. But Judy Stark, of course, is the Girls Volleyball Official of the Year. Judy, good morning.
Good morning.
First question, obviously, is has it sunk in yet that you've been honored by the IHSA for such great work on the volleyball floor?
Yes. It was a wonderful experience to do that. And, I just really enjoyed and was honored to do that.
Honored and enjoyed, that's for sure, and we congratulate you here at Saturday Sports Show on that award. Going back, though, teaching, coaching, now getting into that as you've been for many years officiating, how did teaching and coaching help you as far as become the official that you are today?
Well, I just think that the experience itself, having played volleyball in high school and then developing a program when I first came to Benton High School, a program that was in trouble, and I learned from the students and the players just right along, and then I carried that information and that love from the sport and all the experience when I went into officiating and took it to that level as well.
Volleyball is a sport that's growing considerably, I think, where girls' athletics and girls' athletes around like softball and soccer, but volleyball special, what is the main change that you've seen over the years from officiating volleyball?
I think probably some of the largest changes that have occurred probably would be not being able to block the serve, and the other thing is that they have loosened up the game somewhat, not so much where skill level goes down, but to encourage play. And when I first started officiating, everything was called really tight, a lot of illegal hits, etc. And today, a lot more of that is allowed to encourage play, and that's the entire philosophy behind it, is to encourage play so that you have more offense that's happening out on the floor rather than just people, being on the serve reception situation all the time.
In officiating, you've been a veteran official many years for the IHSA, and you try. As you sit here and watch and you're officiating, is it harder these days to get more people involved in officiating? And if so, what can be done to try to get more people involved?
Well, you have to encourage. I've had some former players that have, talked to me about getting into the officiating end of things, and I just think that I think by word of mouth, we have to recruit, and I consider it a recruiting thing, recruiting younger people to get into the sport and be willing to work at it. That's volleyball isn't a sport that you see. Everyone knows the rules of basketball and a lot of people football, for example, but volleyball is a sport that's still a little bit unknown, and people have to learn, and they have to be dedicated, to learn the rules and learn how to be consistent as an official.
Looking around, it's volleyball, and mainly it's for down in Southern Illinois in our neck of the woods. It's Breeze Mater Dei, Breeze Central, maybe some Metro East schools like a Columbia, a DuPont from moons ago, Redbud as well. What will it take for a team, say, south of Interstate 57, 64, to come up to Bloomington and win a state championship in volleyball?
I personally think, number one, you have to be blessed with some size. I've called the state tournament and worked the state tournament 3 times. And if you don't have young ladies that are at least 6 foot tall and are coordinated at that as well, you're not going to get the job done when you get to Bloomington, because everyone that comes in there have very big outside hitters, very big middle hitters, and you've got to be able to block the ball. And when we have small players that I see a lot of times, we are not blessed with multiple 6-footers on teams, and that's what it takes. And I think that there have been some teams. Benton has had a couple runs up at Bloomington. However, that was prior to taking the top 4 teams when they were still in 2 classes. It just, a lot of things are inherited. But the other thing that I must say as well is we need to get more young ladies and even young men today involved in playing club ball at a competitive level where they're playing year-round. It's a difficult task sometimes from a parental view because the kids are involved in so many activities. But I think that encouragement needs to be there, and that's what a lot of the young ladies at state are doing. They're playing volleyball on their high school teams, and then they're playing ball on their club teams, and they're involved year-round and developing the skills that they need to be very good volleyball players and tremendous athletes.
You've been to the state tournament. You've done a lot of big volleyball games over the years from the officials' box and sideline. You go to the IHSA, you get honored with the Volleyball Official of the Year on the girls' side. You win, and I'm honored with the IHSA Official of the Year from the IHSA. What went through your mind when you first were contacted to let you know you'd won that privileged and distinguished award?
Well, at first I thought they made a mistake. But, I was humbled, and I thought to myself, all of the great officials that I worked with and watched work at the state tournament this past year, and, I put things in perspective, and I'm just like, they are honoring me because I guess that I've done a pretty good job. And, one of the things that came into my mind, too, gosh, I'm representing Southern Illinois. The I hate to say sometimes we're the forgotten area. But I was very honored, and I didn't tell a lot of people at first when I first found out. And then as I absorbed and realized the honor that was associated with that, I was just humbled. And it was very, very unique to receive that award up in Peoria last weekend. So I'm very appreciative, and it gives me some encouragement to continue to improve. And that's another key for officials. I said they have to work at it, but it's just another thing to encourage me to recruit new people in and maybe mentor some younger people, and also to encourage them that this can be achieved if you work hard. It can come to people that are even in Southern Illinois.
Speaking of Southern Illinois, we had a guy on, our first guest, that you know very well. When you and I talked about this on the phone yesterday, Chris Kays, how hard is that, and I'd say this tongue-in-cheek, how hard is that to mentor a guy like that as far as the volleyball officiating world?
Well, it's really a very unique situation. Chris has worked at becoming a better official and gaining the experiences, and he's willing to travel and willing to work hard. And I think that he kind of looks up to some of us that have been doing this for a number of years, and not afraid to pass situations by that we need to discuss so that we all become better. And, I hope that he will continue to learn, and I would hope that he would continue to work at recruiting younger people into our area, or not necessarily just younger, recruiting people that think that they like the sport of volleyball and would want to be into the officiating scene. So, but I've watched him rise from, the lower levels and working his way up, and it's just like having a student in school, and they aspire to do better and to improve. So I commend him for doing that.
Can we make a deal? If you and us work together, I think we might be able to keep Chris Kays in line. What do you think?
Oh, that would be a good. I think that maybe the two of us together, but it would take a team effort to keep him in line.
Hey, our final question, what we like to do is ask an off-topic question. It's our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. And this week's question is a very simple one. What is your dream car?
What is my dream car? My dream car is a Corvette, and I'm honored to say that I do have one. So I love my Corvette, and I've had 2 Corvettes in my lifetime, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Very nice, Judy. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Congratulations again on your honor, and we hope to see you real soon at a volleyball match.
All right. Thank you for calling.
That is Judy Stark, of course, IHSA Official of the Year in girls volleyball. And, of course, your home for Lady Rams volleyball is right here on AM 940 with video for select matches at WMIXsports.com. Streaming audio for everyone. When is our first match, you ask? Well, when we get our schedule set, we'll be more than happy to let you know that information. Of course, we do know when the first Rams football game is, but we'll get that established and get it posted on WMIXsports.com before you know it. That'll all be coming up over the course of the next few weeks here at WMIX and WMIXsports.com. Home of the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We're back after these.
I'm Kevin Snyder with a look at your next rad weather. A lingering shower early on, otherwise clouds will give way to some sun today with a high of 74. Then we'll have a mainly clear and chilly night tonight with a low 48. Tomorrow mostly sunny and pleasant, high getting up to 75. Then on Monday, sunshine will be followed by increasing cloudiness, high 79. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Don't just dream about a better job, go get it with scores of programs that take 2 years, 1 year, or even just a few months to complete. Rend Lake College is your gateway to a career you'll love. From nursing to coal mining, from computer programming to cosmetology, and everything in between. Rend Lake College is affordable, convenient, and ready to get you trained for your new job fast. Call us at 618-437-5321 or visit us at rlc.edu.
Have you been by Second Chance Auto lately? The selection is amazing. Their lot is full of great-looking, dependable cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. Family-owned for the past 33 years, Second Chance Auto is the cure for summer new car fever. No one has a better selection of nice vehicles priced under $10,000. Almost all their vehicles come with a generous 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. There are no dock fees, no shipping fees, no processing fees, and absolutely no gimmicks. Just honest deals at low prices. Second Chance Auto, Route 142 East in Mount Vernon. Call 244-4582. Second Chance Auto.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life, but now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpal Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
We welcome you back to Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Give us a follow on Twitter at WMIX Sports. Of course, the show, as always, is powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Avery Barton looking at me like I'm part stupid. Yes, that was planned. The whole follow me. Yeah, name of the song. Follow us on Twitter. It's all good. Anyhow, glad to be with you here today. Of course, top of the 9 o'clock hour, joined by Mike Reese, Hall of Fame voice of the Salukis, of course, SIU. Whether it's broadcasting your home for the SIU radio network, it all works out. Of course, we'll be talking about the All-Century team, the voting that's taking place right now at SIUSalukis.com for Saluki football. Some tough choices to make, especially with, as you take a look at the ballot. We'll take a look at the ballot with Mike Reese coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Mike Austin still to come here in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll talk about the golf scramble yesterday, benefiting a scholarship fund. Kind of a cohort between the Egyptian Officials Association and I believe the Southern Illinois Coaches Association, EOA/SICA. Golf scramble from yesterday. DC, I know you got to make your annual trek down there. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it due to quite a few work commitments yesterday, a work day that lasted probably into the 14, 15-hour range. But here nor there, I believe, oddly enough, surprise, surprise, a team from Pinckneyville won.
Well, actually, surprise, surprise, Heron did not win. They've dominated the event like 7 of the last 10 years. They've taken home the first-place trophy. And yesterday, Heron and Fairfield did shoot 17 under, but Pinckneyville ended up winning. Group from Pinckneyville shot 18 under, a 54 at Hickory Ridge, which is pretty darn salty considering the setup of the course with the tees and the pin positions. But overall, an outstanding day. I had a different group to play with this year. Worked out very well. It was very fun to play with, and one of those days that, again, our group, talked about playing not only next year already, but also playing in different places between now and then because of the fun we had.
You had a loaded lineup yesterday. I don't know if you can divulge that stuff on. I don't know if you can divulge foursomes or not, or what the golf etiquette is on that anymore.
My new foursome yesterday was Rick Runge, who's obviously an IHSA official, and his brother Curtis Runge, and then sports editor of the Southern Illinoisan, Les Winkler, and I played, and we had an outstanding time, and it was a great afternoon. It rained, but it never rained enough to make you soaked or get things bothered or make you grouchy. It was just a great weather day for golf. I mean, it was fun to be out there playing. Our group had a blast. We're already talking about playing next year already.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you can't plan for it. It seems to be the same Friday every year, usually the last Friday in July, of course, by recent memory. But Mike Austin will talk about that. Hopefully they have the numbers.
They're supposed to.
Of just how much money they will be able to hand out to kids based on the event here in 2013. Another great event coming up, not to change topics. We'll come right back to this topic here in just a moment, but it'll be the Kelly Lewis Memorial Poker Run. Of course, I told you earlier in the program we had that fundraiser for Kelly and her family back on May 9th of 2009, right before a historic Rams baseball doubleheader against the Althoff Crusaders, one in which Mike Swinnen, of course, hit the famous walk-off grand slam. It was the day before Mother's Day, remember it well, had a nice little auction. Unfortunately, lost Kelly not that long ago, and They're having a Memorial Poker Run on August the 10th, just a couple of weeks from today. It'll start at Dale's Harley-Davidson. It's 11 o'clock start time, so we'll talk about it, promote it over the coming weeks. All proceeds will go to childhood cancer research, and clearly this is something that needs a lot more money for a lot more research. So all proceeds will go to that. Kelly Lewis Memorial Poker Run. It'll start at Dale's Harley-Davidson at 11 o'clock on August the 10th. It'll run through Woodlawn, New Minden, Sandoval, and Mount Vernon. Some pretty historic and legendary stops in those communities. Of course, if you think about Woodlawn, New Minden, Sandoval, and Mount Vernon. But it's the Kelly Lewis Memorial Poker Run. It's coming up in 2 weeks at 11 o'clock, and it'll start at Dale's Harley-Davidson. We hope you'll support that, as all proceeds, again, go to the childhood cancer research. So something that is obviously very close to us here, having participated in that fundraiser not that long ago. Those have been 4 years now, and hard to believe, unfortunately. But moving along from that, we will have Mike Austin here to come on the Saturday Sports Show. Famed IHSA official. Just had him not that long ago to kind of preview the event. Now we're going to get a wrap up and talk about just how much money they raised yesterday at Hickory Ridge. It's all coming up on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. It's been said that in order to grow, you have to change. Very rarely anymore do insurance companies ask the phrase to go out and get 3 estimates. The new phrase insurance companies are asking is, would you like to take your vehicle to one of our direct repair facilities? This is a way for your insurance company and collision repair center to help relieve the stress you may have from your unfortunate incident. And, as Landers Collision Centers has adapted to this forever-changing industry, we are extremely happy to announce that we are a direct repair facility for over 10 different insurance companies. It's likely that one of them is yours. From dealing with your insurance company, setting you up with a rental vehicle, lifetime warranty on repairs, and of course, Landers free lifetime detailing for qualified customers, Landers Collision Centers literally takes the stress from your incident and turns it back into a shiny new ride for you to enjoy again. Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
State Farm, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, Jerry Newman. Does State Farm offer more discounts to more drivers?
Yep, like the good driver discount.
So it's for good, but not great drivers.
No, Jerry. There's also the multi-line discount.
For calling from multiple lines while driving.
You should never use a phone while driving.
I only make calls from my car when I'm stuck in a ditch or something.
Are you in a ditch?
Yes, I am.
State Farm offers more discounts to more drivers than any other insurance company. Get to a better state.
One more reason to call State Farm agent Tony Wilton Mount Vernon at 242-1421.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski and Mike Richardson in studio. Almost said Danny Richardson, though. That was almost awkward.
We're buddies this week.
You're not. You're close.
We're friends.
Close.
You're close, but you're not that close.
He took something off my hands this week. He's good.
Alfonso.
Yep.
God bless America. Anyhow, Mike Austin, of course, famed IHSA official, joins us now to talk about yesterday's EOA SICA Golf Scramble at Hickory Ridge Golf Course in Carbondale. Michael, good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Doing pretty good. I unfortunately did not have the opportunity to make it down yesterday due to the work day, and I thought this was going to be the year, but obviously it's not about me, but would love to have been able to join. And I know that Danny obviously was able to play yesterday and said that the event was just as great as it always has been. So congratulations to you all on another great scramble at Hickory Ridge yesterday.
Well, you're lucky that I heard you say you put in a 14 or 15-hour workday yesterday because that was going to be my initial lead-in was to get on you about not showing up. But, yeah, and we finally completed the day last night, and I heard you say hopefully have some numbers, and I do have some numbers, and they're surprisingly better than what we anticipated. So it was a great day yesterday.
Rattle off some of those. What are you guys over now? $250,000 in funds raised and over the life of the golf scramble?
With yesterday's earnings, we are at $235,000. So yesterday we did a little over $23,000 just to get us to the 235. So next year we'll definitely hit the $250,000 mark. And what's really kind of interesting, guys, is that we did a little over $23,000 yesterday, and we did it with 10 less teams. So from the year before, when we had 48 teams, down to 38 yesterday, and still came up with a little over $23,000. To me, that I shake my head every time I put together all the numbers and think about just how lucky we are to be able to do something like this.
Yesterday, the golf course, lots of good teams playing. Of course, 18 under, a shock and surprise as far as who won the tournament and takes home the traveling trophy for a year.
Yeah, I heard this morning when you was talking about that. Heron had actually won it 8 times out of the first 11, and yesterday we ended up with a new champion, that being Pinckneyville. And Danny, in just for you, we always end up trying to make that golf course a little more difficult by putting some of the tee boxes out of the way and hiding some of the pins. And I understand yesterday was a very good effort by the grounds crew and all that in making the course tough. And 18 under is pretty salty. You're right, to be able to play that course that way yesterday.
I looked at it, in our group. We played and we noticed that the pins were mixed very nicely. You had some easy, you had some medium, you had some hard pin placements. One of the things that got me was I think this year changed a lot of the tee box placements, which really made you think and adjust. I think that was the key about this tournament is the tee boxes yesterday really messed with some golf shots and it made you change some thoughts on what you're going to tee off with compared to what you're going to hit with on your approach shot.
Over the past years, we always try to sit down and try to figure out what we can do to make things more difficult, and we kind of listen to what everybody has to say as they're talking in groups. And the one thing that I've always noticed in the past 2 or 3 years since we've been trying to make this thing more difficult is I heard people say, well, you know that the pin is going to be placed on the hill behind the bunker on number 4. You know they're going to place it there. Well, it got me thinking, why in the world would we go ahead and set it up a way that they want us to set it up? So then I talked to Mike Curtis, who's at Hickory Ridge, and I said, if they're thinking so much about this that they're already anticipating where the pin placements will be, is there anything that we can do to kind of really mess with it? And he said, we can move the tee boxes, and I said, that sounds great to me. So that's how that all happened yesterday. So don't think that we just sit kind of on our hands, because we try to make it as challenging and try to make things as fun for the golfer as possible.
Very fun event. I know yesterday one of the big events that's a side event, I guess it would be, is the putting contest. And I think somebody actually made the putt. I know everybody's thinking, well, how long is this putt? It's green to green, length of the green at Hickory Ridge's practice green. Somebody actually made that putt. And that's another little thing. I know it's a process to, that when teams are backed up to have something to do, but that's become a very competitive thing over the years as teams go through there.
Yeah, we actually had 2 people that made it yesterday. Chuck Lane from Centralia made it in the afternoon, and then Kevin Beavers from Murfreesboro made it in the morning. So what we try to do, just so everybody understands what we're talking about, we try to place the hole as far off of the putting green as we can, and try to make them putt the longest possible distance with the most sway of the green. And what we do is we take the total distance of all 4 balls from the hole, and whichever team has a combined distance of less amount, we award them with the prize for the putting contest. And the way that was actually developed, it was that a year when we had 38 teams all playing in the afternoon. You can imagine that. And we had to come up with some kind of way to take a little bit of pressure off the golf course. So we tried to think of some ways we could do it, where you could hurry up some holes. That wasn't the thing to do. So we tried to just do a putting contest and try to make 19 holes. That way it kind of relieved the golf course and relieved some of the pressure. And I think it's actually been a pretty good hit, and I think the people actually like it.
A good event and everything. How many schools were involved yesterday? Do you have a total on that?
30.
30 different schools.
That's actually down from last year. Last year we had 33. But if you can remember, Danny, when we talked the first time, we specifically said we was not going to chase the schools this year because it just really didn't make a lot of sense to us. We're in our 12th year. And, Chris, as you have said this morning, it's not hard to forget we're the last Friday in July. So by now we kind of thought, why in the world should we continue to chase the schools and to continue to call the schools and just to give them money? At this point, it's kind of like you should know that. And I'm not trying to sound arrogant, so please don't take it that way. But again, if it's important to the schools and if it's important to the school district, then I think that they're going to participate. And if they choose not to, then all that's going to do is allow more money to go to the schools who choose to participate.
Next year, last Friday in August, once again, like you said, there's no use trying to bring the horse to water. They know where it's at. To me, and I don't understand this, why don't all schools do this? I don't understand why they don't throw at least one team together to help out kids, because it's one of their easiest ways to give scholarship money and make a school look good.
Well, when we initially started this thing 12 years ago, Danny and Chris, what we asked the schools to do is we did not want the money to come out of the impressed funds or the athletic department. We did not want the schools to have any money invested. All we asked the schools to do was to go out and get 4 golfers, ask them to play in this scramble and represent their school, and then they would be eligible for the entire money with no money spent. What we've seen in the past is we see the schools will pay for their coaches to play out of their soda funds or something like that, but then you don't get the full effect of the scholarship. So what I was always hoping that would happen through this whole thing was that the school would have zero amount of money invested and get all of it in return. But however they choose to do it, fine. I mean, I would invest $500 every single day to get $800 back.
Oh, definitely a great investment, and of course a great thing you all do at the EOA and of course the SICA. But Mike, before we let you go, obviously you've become familiar with it, the WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. This week we feel it's a little bit easier, and that is, what is your dream car?
Chris, I'm kind of a simple guy. I don't want anything really flashy, and I don't like the standing out part of it. So I think maybe I'll just take a little Cadillac or something like that. I just don't really need to. I really don't need to turn heads as I drive down the road. I kind of like being off the side. Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Chris, in our 12 years that we've been in this golf outing, we've had 1 hole-in-one, and it's my understanding that we come extremely close yesterday to having a second.
Yeah,
Now, I don't know how far you are away from Danny, but I imagine his head's probably going to get pretty big whenever we start talking about him hitting the pin on a par 3. And I don't know if he's had a hole-in-one or not, but he come pretty close. He come pretty close yesterday.
Well, and that's kind of the funny thing about DC is he does not like to talk about his golf game with people for some reason. Like, I always try to brag about it to people, and he's always so modest about it. But that does not surprise me at all that he came that close.
Well, from talking to Rick Runge and to Les Winkler, and I heard Danny say earlier this morning, you guys was talking about playing again next year. There's a reason for that, is because Danny's pretty good.
Yeah.
And each one of the guys said Danny would get up on the tee box and he would hit the drive, and the rest of them would think there's no reason for me to even swing.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I did hit the pin on 17, the par 3 down there. I mean, I one-hopped, hit the pin. I mean, you see them all the time where the ball hits the pin about a quarter of the way up, and usually drops straight down. It hit and went about 7 feet away from it. I mean, I hit it dead on. I mean, it clunked. I know Rick Runge was about ready to run down the fairway to go find, see where it hit on the pin. But, again, it helps to play well when you have an enjoyable group of guys to play with and play golf. And the group I had yesterday, I mentioned Rick Runge, Curtis Runge, and Les Winkler. We had such a blast yesterday. First time that any of us had played golf together. We're looking already forward to next year, keeping the team together and playing other times during the year because we had so much fun yesterday.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, Danny and Chris, I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to come on your show for a couple times and really promote this thing that we've got going in the 12 years, $235,000, and it's such a good day, and it's such a good time to be able to give something back to the students, and I just appreciate you allowing me to be part of your show.
Well, we appreciate you for taking the time to join us. Of course, by process of elimination, next year's event will be July 25th of 2014.
That's correct.
There we go, Michael. We'll talk to you.
So,
We'll talk to you again.
Write it down
Hopefully,
right now, Chris. It's a no work Friday.
I'll tell you what. I actually have written down on my little paper here, July 25th of 2014, and I'm going to fill out a vacation day form. But hopefully, I'll see you at the fair long before we get to basketball season.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Michael, we appreciate it. That's Mike Austin, famed IHSA official, and I am being. Before we'll go to break here in just a second. Here on the Saturday Sports Show, but there we go. That's taken care of. But anyhow, as I am being compared to another person in here, I am nowhere near that. Unfortunately, my issues really are work-related. But
saying, I've been there every year.
Yesterday was just chaotic. Two remotes.
I just like stir.
I know,
stir.
They have good food down there for one, so therefore you already know I'm disappointed for that reason.
Oh, 17th Street.
Oh,
Can I say that? 17th Street barbecue, cookies.
Mike Austin's a good dude.
It's a great I mean, I walked in yesterday, and we forgot to mention this, and I played it every year from Cocopelli the first year to Hickory Ridge the last 11. Walked in, and as soon as you sign in, you get a 50-50, because your entrance fee pays for a mulligan, 50-50, whatever else. I mean, everything's paid for right then and there. Skins game, forgot about that. There's one skid in the afternoon, number 3, Eagle on par 4. Pretty interesting. So you go in, and I mean, I walked away. This was my door prize. Everybody gets a door prize. I got a extra large, dry fit IHSA State Finals golf shirt, lime green, kind of almost similar color actually to this Nike.
That's
one.
ironic.
I've got $5 to the Courtside Cafe at Pinckneyville, a lanyard and new golf ball. I can sleeve golf balls. I mean, that was door prize. And then you go out and you've got free drinks all day. You've got food. You've got 17th Street barbecue. You got golf. It's a pretty neat deal. I mean, this is one of the few golf scrambles, because when it started was in the heyday of golf scrambles where everybody had a golf scramble. I know the golf scramble is starting to thin out a little bit, but this one's not only been able to grow but also to thrive and get better each year, and that's the key in this.
I'm going to have to get a team together next year. That'd be the way that I could guarantee my appearance, is to get a team together. I'll plan now. I need to see who doesn't go. I got a plan. I got a team full of people that are going to be awful. And that's fine, because we'll be the funnest team out there, most fun, whatever the...
Wow.
What is this?
Funnest?
I know. I was hoping nobody would catch that.
Well, larky. Yeah, the teacher and me just showed up.
Yeah.
What? Funnest?
Oh, the superlative form of fun. Yes, I did just butcher that live on the Saturday Sports Show. Mike Reese still to come, Hall of Fame broadcast for the SIU Salukis. Of course, all-century team voting is open now on SIUSalukis.com. We'll see just how many years of that century Mike has been at the helm of the radio broadcast at Southern. Of course, it's all coming up here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
I'm Kevin Snyder with a look at your next rad weather. A lingering shower early on, otherwise clouds will give way to some sun today with a high of 74. Then we'll have a mainly clear and chilly night tonight with a low 48. Tomorrow mostly sunny and pleasant, high getting up to 75. Then on Monday, sunshine will be followed by increasing cloudiness, high 79. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
If you can't pick us up where you live, move. This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers broadcasting station.
When you hear the warm, inviting sound of a crackling fire, what comes to mind? A rustic campground? A cozy cabin? How about the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center? Our new family lounges feature a lot of comforts you might not expect. Things like this. No, that's not a babbling brook or serene stream out in the countryside. It's a 2-story waterfall located right here at Good Samaritan. And that's not the only way we're raising the bar for patient comfort. We've added lush healing gardens, as well as wall after wall of beautiful artwork, all designed to create the perfect healing atmosphere. And if all this sounds like music to your ears, we encourage you to check us out. Chances are, we're not too far from where you are right now.
The new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital, raising the bar.
Southern Illinois now has a better home for sports. It's the all-new WMIXSports.com. Jam-packed with local scores, video highlights, and archives of every local sports broadcast on WMIX. Did your team win? Missed that game-winning shot last night? Didn't catch your favorite coach on the Saturday Sports Show? WMIXSports.com is right at your fingertips. On your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, or your video game console. It's the all-new WMIXSports.com. Another free service from Withers Broadcasting.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Full studio for you this morning. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski and Mike Richardson, all courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Our next guest, of course, is the Hall of Fame voice of Saluki Athletics on the Saluki Sports Network. He is Mike Reese. Reese, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you guys. And Chris, I see by that bastion of accuracy, Facebook, this is your birthday?
Yeah, I am unfortunately 30 now, which means that you've been doing Saluki Athletics on the radio longer than I've been alive. I hope that's not too rude of me.
I'll talk to you guys again soon. It's really nice. Talk to me when you're right around 50. Then I'll be concerned about you being 30, maybe. Happy birthday!
Thank you very much. And of course, a very big thing in my opinion. Of course, I'm a big fan of Saluki football. Saluki football all-century team. You can vote now on SIUSalukis.com. And I was kind of taking a look at that just prior to the break and seeing how they have the ballot set up there. And the neat thing that they've done, in my opinion, is you go through and you roll over a link and it shows the picture of that particular individual from the time that they were at Southern. And probably the most impressive, there were two things that really stuck out to me. One was the picture of Karl Mock, and the other was Joel Samberski with hair.
Oh, well, Joel likes that picture, too. I think he put that on his driver's license recently because he doesn't have that much hair in real life. And any picture, Chris, of Karl Mock is historic, if not legendary.
But the all-century team, and you know, it's a pretty neat thing that they're doing on the website. And you choose 2 head coaches, 3 quarterbacks, the list goes on and on. How did any idea how they came about whom to choose for some of these positions? Because some of these positions are pretty loaded.
Yes, and several, at least for me, were difficult decisions. Each position had the no-brainers, but to make the cut, and without divulging exactly who I voted for, at least right now, getting the quarterbacks from 4 to 3 was hard for me. Getting the running backs from 7 to 6 was hard. Other positions were a little easier. Coach to me is an easy choice for the 2. But as as to how the list came together, there were a committee of people who've seen, basically, the short answer is it was a committee of people who've seen a lot of Saluki football. Some are administrators. One happens to be the broadcaster. One happens to be the sports information director. And Tom Weber is the sports information director of media relations. And he's the one that essentially put together the entire list. And then the committee whittled the list down to the number that's there now. And we'll end up picking a little over 50. The committee also has a say in who makes the team. The fan vote has a lot to do with who's on the team. But we also don't want a team that you guys laugh at, and say, well, why didn't so-and-so's a no-brainer? And it's obvious the people who are the no-brainers, and you mentioned one of them in Mock. He's a no-brainer to be on this team. Joel is a no-brainer to be on this team. But if all of a sudden the voting went cockeyed, and then all of a sudden those guys didn't make it, I don't know that the team would have much credibility. And so there's that kind of fallback feature available from the committee. So this committee had a lot to do with what you see on the website at siusalukis.com, and we'll have a lot to say with the final team itself.
Well, there's a lot of distinct possibilities here. Of course, you take a look at the different eras of Saluki football. Of course, I was there for mostly the Sambursky, Coffin, Kettle Camp. I have a special passion for special teams and kicking. That's why I automatically go to the kickers and the punters. But and what a great era that was under Coach Kill.
You a gift. Kettle Camp's going to send you a gift. You remember him, man?
Yeah, I mean that's a big deal.
$100 coming from him now.
I mean, he came, and it's impossible to name everybody just from that era that
Sure.
you could make a case for. And so you take a look back at the past, and I like what they're doing with the utility voting option there on the offensive side that allows guys, and especially you think of Marion Rushing, who played multiple positions and excelled at just about anything that he did in Saluki football history.
Yeah, that helps with those people because there aren't many people who saw those guys play. Jim Lovin, for example, whose jersey number is retired, it hangs, the number is on the at Saluki Stadium, played every down of every game, both sides of the football. And so there has to be a spot for that guy, too. And at the same time, whereas their preferred position, in Lovin's case, he didn't have a preferred position. In Mock's case, he had a preferred position, that being on linebacker on defense. But utility is an opportunity for those guys, for a Bill Norwood to be recognized. Norwood played on both sides of the football. Some guys from previous to that, as it's 100 years. So, I don't know that there's anybody left out, and I think that's always the thing that you worry about when you put together a ballot. Who did you leave off? We have not heard of anybody, and there were some people that didn't make the cut, but there have not been any complaints about who, at least that we've been privy to people who've been chosen for the ballot.
When you go through this, was there ever a thought given? I know it's an all-century team, but was there ever a thought given to dividing the teams up into eras, or as far as 10 or 50, 10 to 50 years here, 50 to 100 years here? I mean, any thought to dividing that up that way instead of just everybody lumped into one team?
Not really, because we're celebrating 100 years. If at McAndrews Stadium, we broke it up that way, and that was a way to honor each group individually. So we honored people from the 90s, people from the 80s at a select home game. There was some merit to that because the stadium was christened in the 30s. In this case, it's celebrating 100 years of Saluki athletics in total, but in this case, celebrating 100 years of Saluki football. Actually, they played a few games prior to that, but 1913 is generally considered, generally accepted as the start of Saluki football as we know it. And we'll do this with basketball too. I believe in October, maybe in late September, we'll do the same thing. Vote for an all-century team there as well. But it seemed like since we're celebrating the century, let's pick a team for the century. Might add a little bit more drama to the thing rather than picking the best of the 90s, pick the best of the 80s, etc.
I can't imagine no drama in picking a team because, I mean, it's just like when you pick these things out, people are laying in the weeds waiting to come out and fire with the why did you pick that person over this person all the time?
Well, and I think that stuff's good as long as it's done in good humor, I guess, and doesn't get vicious. We'll find out some of that on Monday. I personally, on my Facebook page, am going to start revealing my vote on Monday, position by position. And there'll be some people that are good friends of mine who I didn't pick who are going to give me some grief. And so, but that's part of picking a team. And I respect people when they make a decision on who they prefer versus somebody else. And I hope the majority of people do as well. And so we'll see how all that comes together. But actually, I think it'll be a pretty good thing if there's some discussion about it, because I think there are enough safeguards in the process, fellas, that an obvious person is not going to be let out. Now, it's no different than the last team that didn't get in the NCAA tournament every year, and there's a discussion about whether they should be in. The seventh running back on a six-man team, the seventh voter, the seventh leading vote getter, that'll be a discussion point for sure, because I'm sure that'll be tight. There've been a lot of good running backs at Southern. But in short, I think that sort of discussion would be good.
Taking a look at the kickers ballot, is Lady Rams basketball coach Jeff Lonan, was he just a brief oversight? I didn't see him on there.
Now, what did Lonan give you to ask that question?
Surprisingly, nothing. But I knew that if he is listening right now, he is probably trying to text me to tell me to ask that question.
Lonan is hilarious. Tremendous guy. There have been some excellent kickers. That was an area that was hard to get down to because 4, 5, and 6. Scott Eberhardt was very good. And so there are people that were left off there. That's the position. Running back, Derek Taylor was left off. He was the leading rusher on the 83 National Championship team. That's a heck of a credential for him. But, part of it is also making the vote tough. So you have the best players getting the most votes. You have the fewer that you have to choose from, the harder the choice becomes, the less the votes are split up. And I think you end up with a more representative team, and I think that's the goal. The easy thing to do is pick a 100-person team. The hard thing to do is pick a 50-person team. A 100-person team, more people, I guess, are happy, more ex-players are happy. The 50-person team, 50-player team, at least to me, means more because it's a smaller group and it's a tougher spot to get.
Well, and of course, the all-century team and celebrating a century of football, celebrating a big way this year, going to a neutral site on Saturday, September the 21st to battle SEMO at Busch Stadium. And what an event that'll be for Saluki and Red Hawk fans alike.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting, and I think the ticket sales, last I heard, was at the 5,000 mark. 10 to 15, at least personally to me, would be a terrific turnout for this. So we'll see how it plays out. I think there's a tremendous hope for good weather. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be so forgiving if it's raining at Busch that day, especially with a big series coming Monday against Washington on the 23rd, I believe, after the game on the 21st. But it'll be definitely a different twist. There's a buzz there. I was shocked earlier this summer when they had a press conference at Busch Stadium to reveal all the details of this, the coverage that the event garnered in St. Louis. I think the timing was good in terms of how hot the news day was, but at the same time, it's easier not to show up than to show up, and there were I think at least 5 television stations at the press conference. So it's gaining some. It has some legs there, and it should be a fun time. It's good for both schools. Both schools want more students, and they think anything that puts them in the public's eye in a metropolitan area helps them gain students. So somebody in St. Louis looks and sees that SIU and Southeast Missouri are playing in this, they're playing in their town, and perhaps they take a minute to consider those two schools.
Well, and a fairly favorable schedule for Southern this year in terms of home games. Of course, there is a trip to Champaign to open up the year. Later on in the year, you have to go to Frozen Falls for you and I. Other than that, a fairly favorable home schedule.
Yeah, the home schedule is good. Anytime that they have that many home games is good. They benefit from the fact, fellas, that this is a year, because of the way the calendar falls, that the level that Southern plays at, the FCS, the other level that Illinois and the rest of them play at is FBS. They're always allowed to play 12 games. FCS can only play 12 games when the calendar allows it. And in short, that just has a lot to do with when the playoffs fall and all of that. So there are 13 weeks available this season, and so from the start of practice, and so 12 games are available this year and next year. It's not a slam dunk for these schools to play the 12th game because it costs you money. Playing the Charleston game costs Southern money that wasn't originally anticipated a couple of years ago before the OK came to play 12 games. So anytime they can play at home, especially with the beautiful facility that the Salukis have, it's terrific for them, and it's an important year for Southern. The Salukis feel like they've pushed themselves back to being a playoff contender. They have a stable of running backs that are excellent, led by Division I transfers, and a highly touted JUCO transfer. And so hopes are high. The defense is rebuilt, and after losing a lot of seniors, and so we'll see how it plays out. It was an awfully good defense a year ago, and it was a key to Southern getting back over 500. Now the Salukis want to take a next step.
You brought me back to the All-Century team when you mentioned facility. Was there going to be a vote between the trailer, McAndrew, and the current facility, or were you going to add some more? How come that wasn't mentioned as far as the All-Century team as well?
I'm sorry, it garbled, and I only heard part of your question.
Okay. How did the All-Century team not include the trailer, McAndrew, versus the current facilities now? I mean, I got to know. I mean, that to me is almost as bad as leaving Jeff Lonnon off the kicker section.
I don't think this is all about, fellas, this team having credibility, and I don't think any team that includes voting on a mobile home has any credibility. And that place, much like the press box at Abe Martin Field, is exactly where it needs to be, and that's in some landfill somewhere.
Okay, so the trailer and the press box at Abe Martin Field are not anywhere at your house. It's kind of like keepsakes for the yard. They're gone, right?
There are so many people who think those pieces of garbage are in my backyard. Carbondale has enough zoning laws that wouldn't work. And those are not the storage sheds at my house. I have a legitimate Cook portable warehouse as a storage shed. I don't have the McAndrew Stadium trailers or the Abe Martin Field press box. The Abe Martin Field press box came down a month ago, and the guy that ran the crane that knocked it down, I told one of SIU's administrators, Andy Petty, he said, I can't believe anybody sat up there because it came down so easy. I said, well, that makes me feel good.
That makes. Hey, you're going to be spoiled, aren't you? I mean, everything's been redone. I mean, you've worked really hard to get all this done, haven't you?
No, I haven't had a darn thing to do with it, but no, I'm very lucky. The stadium's a palace, and Itchy Jones Stadium, Abe Martin Field, is going to be very nice too, and the arena is nice as well, especially the locker room facilities. Southern has no excuses, no complaints, nothing about facilities, and it's time to start winning again. And Southern knows that. There are no excuses anymore. Well, they haven't been excuses for 3 years now. The facilities are there. Same's going to be true for baseball now. There are no more excuses, and so it's helped baseball. They see dividends in their recruiting right now. Football feels good about its last two classes in particular, and we'll see how all this plays out.
Of course, our final question, always off topic, the WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. A little bit easier this time, we feel, is what is your dream car?
My dream car? My dream car is anything in the current model year that's free. That has more than 2 doors.
That is a top answer, along with a car that is paid off. So we will gladly accept that.
Much better if it's free if somebody else paid it off. I like that.
Oh, man. Reese, we appreciate your time this morning. Always great to be able to talk to you. Do me a favor. Keep Paxton Guy and offensive line coach Phil Meyer in line in the upcoming football season.
Tough assignment, but I'll do it. Appreciate being on with you guys, and Chris, happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. That's Hall of Fame broadcaster Mike Reese here on the Saturday Sports Show, and, of course, voice of Saluki Athletics. Saluki Radio Network, of course, can be found with Withers Broadcasting. Of course, the flagship is 105.1 VZA out of the Marion Carbondale cluster, and then you take a look at X95.3 FM in Centralia, the Tri-State Boomer, WRUL FM 97.3. Also in Southern Illinois, you have Q102, WEBQ FM 102.3, and WMOK AM 920. Of course, there's also some other properties along the network in Missouri as well. We'll address those as we get closer to the college football season. Coming up before you know it, the Saluki's first game is at Illinois on Saturday, August the 31st. Coincidentally, my sister's birthday. That's kind of crazy how that works out. But we need to take a break here on the Saturday Sports Show. When we come back, more sports talk. We'll give you our answers to the WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. It's all coming up next. Brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Bad credit, no problem. Auto Mart of Salem is here to help. Auto Mart of Salem is your local shop here, pay here headquarters. Quality cars, vans, SUVs, and trucks in stock now. All credit applications are accepted. Shop here and pay here at Auto Mart of Salem, 1819 West Main, Salem, Illinois. Shop online at automartofsalem.com or call us at 618-548-8611.
The Golden Rule. Treat others how you would want to be treated. Do you feel that's the kind of service you're getting from your pharmacy? It can be hard to find good customer care nowadays, but at the Medicine Shop Pharmacy in Mount Vernon, that kind of service is our #1 priority. You have options when it comes to your prescription and medical equipment needs. Don't put up with poor service and long waits anymore. It's easy to switch. Call me today and let me show you why the Medicine Shop should be your new pharmacy.
As you just heard, pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black is committed to taking care of each and every customer that walks through his pharmacy doors. Stop by anytime and talk to Eric and his pharmacy staff. You'll soon find out why the Medicine Shop is your hometown pharmacy. Support the local community and give them a try. You'll be glad you did. Don't forget to take advantage of their free delivery, custom compounding service, medication planners, and so much more. The Medicine Shop Pharmacy, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. I can't talk about the high interest rate on our new One product because then I have to get into disclosures that are longer than my commercial spot. I will tell you that our new product, One, is simply the highest rate in the market. One way to find out more is to come in to any of our 5 Jefferson County locations and talk to one of us and find out why you should be One. You can talk to one of us by calling 244-3000. Let me say this one more time. One from Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Of course, here on AM 940, WMIX Mount Vernon. Bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, 30 minutes left in the program. All brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Of course, we're glad to have had Mike Reese, Mike Austin, Judy Stark, and Chris Case on the program this morning. But, of course, still time to participate in the discussion with our WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. What is your dream car? And, gentlemen, of course, I've had some time to think about this, of course, an hour and 22 minutes into the program now. Favorite dream cars? DC, do you own yours?
I own mine, the Mustang, and paid off in Mustang.
There you go.
Yep.
That's 2 good things.
Mm-hmm.
I've narrowed it down to 3.
That's fine. We got time.
No, I think I would. I think that. But the Aston Martin, souped up, James Bond style, that'd be top. The Batmobile, that'd be a cool one to have. That's for sure. That would be pretty cool. But I probably would a cherry red 65 Mustang convertible. Nice. Probably. That'd probably be it. I don't know, the Batmobile. That'd be pretty cool.
Tough one for me, just because I don't know enough about cars to be considered a car guy by any stretch of the imagination. As far as having a dream car, I guess like a 57 vet.
Black.
Yeah. Got it for my 16th birthday, a little die-cast model. Beyond that, I guess just a limo or just having a driver. Because I've had the experience of having somebody drive me around before. I mean, I wasn't in trouble with the law or anything like that. It was just egotistical. In fact, that driver is running our board right now. But
he gets a mean cup of coffee too. I heard.
Yeah, he does.
Personal assistant is what we call him from time to time.
PA.
But no, just a good kid. But it is nice to have a driver. So anything that I would not have to drive and have a driver for would be A-okay with me.
The NFL appreciates drivers.
They need to appreciate a lot more. But yeah, 57 vet or just somebody to drive me around in any vehicle, as long as it runs and runs well. I mean, yes, runs well is applicable because that is a verb followed by an adverb. After my huge gaffe earlier with the superlative adjective,
on Twitter for it too.
I bet I did.
Especially by him, got smoked.
I do, and that's the one adjective that I do that frequently with which I do that frequently.
It's quite all right.
Now I'm a grammatical head case right now. But anyhow, there's our answers to the WMIX Sports social media question. Feel free to participate on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports, or hit us up on Twitter at WMIX Sports. Give us a follow, give us a like while you are at either location. We do need to take a quick break. When we come back, plenty more sports to talk about here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more in the hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We're going to hear from them now.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpaul Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
More Americans are on the move today than ever before. One of the most popular modes of transportation is the motorcycle. Motorcycles take us to our jobs, school, to the beach, and all around the country. If you're a bike rider, your Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crownview in Mount Vernon, wants to make sure you have the best insurance protection while you're riding. Ask about the money-saving auto cycle discount and the experienced driver discount, too. Call Page Insurance at 242-7000 today about motorcycle insurance from Pekin Insurance.
Hi, Roy Schmidt, Chrysler dealer at King City Chrysler, Mount Vernon. Vacation time is here, and we have the perfect choice for a cross-country adventure. The 2013 Chrysler Town & Country with standard DVD and stow-and-go seating, meaning you will always have plenty of options to keep the kids entertained. Don't forget there is no charge for leather. That's right, leather is free, making any of those spills easy to clean. You'll have more money to spend on your summer getaway with 0% financing for 72 months, plus $750 in owner loyalty. We have plenty of minivans in stock, sure to be a perfect fit for your family and your budget. Browse our inventory online at KingCityChrysler.com or see any of our sales associates to test drive the 2013 Town & Country at King City Chrysler Center, 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Nothing you done, killer. It's all good. Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. It's all powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
One thing we forgot. WMIX Sports social media question. What is your dream car? Find it on Facebook and Twitter. We didn't get Avery Barton's dream car. He reacted well to the Aston Martin. Is that what it is? No. You're talking off microphone. Come here if you're going to talk. Oh. You know how that works.
Heather.
Silly
Come
boy.
Heather.
Only the best one.
They're so cute when they're that age.
Yes, they're so fun.
Oh, my God. He knows better. He's good at what he does. He wouldn't be here if he wasn't.
I don't know. I didn't really think about it. I do like the Aston Martins. Those are cool cars. Get out of one of those with like a $800 suit on.
$800?
Well, I mean,
Come on, let's get up there a little
car,
bit.
You're not going to have a J.C.
Let's get about $2,400, $3,000.
I mean, I get a discount from J.C.Penney, so you know.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Armani called.
As I talk off microphone, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't know. I really like the blacked out Dodge Chargers. The blacktop versions is what they're called. with the works on the inside, leather interior and whatnot. Those are really nice. I'm modest. I don't like to be flashy. I love to be flashy, but I'm still cheap. But Dodge Charger.
Dodge Charger, we got the siren on the top and the blinking lights on the back.
Yes.
But you don't want to be flashy.
Oh, exactly.
Remember that.
We will remember that. And, of course, Avery, very good, speaking of things that deal with Flash at doing websites. Of course, the brains behind WMIXsports.com, and as well as many of our websites here in the company, especially as we've rolled out some new ones over the course of the company this past week. But anyhow, there's your finality with the WMIX Sports social media question. What is your dream car? Sorry about that, Avery, who's the man with the plan today. Of course, we have one more break to take. We'll take that a little bit later. Plenty more sports to talk about, especially the MLB trade deadline coming up over the course of this coming week. The 31st is the non-waiver deadline. Already some trades that have taken place, of course, impacting DC's team, the Cubs. Matt Garza going to the Rangers for some prospects, and then Mike and Danny did some trading between themselves. Alfonso Soriano goes back to New York.
Yeah, much needed right-handing hitting as the injury woes continue for the Yankees, and it's no secret Chicago's trying to get rid of him the last 2 or 3 years. So they were willing to pay about $18 million of the $24 million left on his contract, which was pretty much a no-brainer right there for that, and it worked out pretty good. And Garza leaving. I think all Cub fans knew that was just a matter of time before that was going to take place. And, they got to try to do what they can. And getting Mike Alt, a future third baseman for them to go along with Rizzo. You got a couple cornerstones there now. Maybe they can build on a little bit.
Pretty happy with what's going on. I mean, he's been able to trade Carlos Marmol, who can't hit a barn side of the barn with a pitch. He's traded Soriano, who's got the hot bat and the big contract, even though they're going to pay $18 of $24 million. He got rid of Scott Feldman to the Orioles, Jerry Hairston Jr. to Washington. Garza goes to Texas, had to hit while the iron was hot a little bit on that one. The team is building, and the best part is they're not only building, but they're winning on the field. Another win last night. They have a better record than the defending World Series champion San Francisco Giants right now, which is kind of odd. The Cubs come in at 46-55, and the Giants are 46-56. So you're getting the best of both worlds right now for the Cubs. You're getting rid of guys and getting people back to flog and stock that minor league system. And you're also winning on the field, and that's a huge thing with young guys learning how to win there. And if Theo and the guys continue to go and build it from the bottom up, Boston was not a baseball powerhouse until Theo got there, built it from bottom up, and here they keep winning every year. That's what the Cubs need in this case, and I think that's what they're doing the right things right now.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people were under the impression would take place in Chicago, but then they got caught up in, trying to win a few games here and there and get a veteran along the way to keep putting fannies in the seats. But my contention's always been for years, it doesn't matter what product on the floor, they're going to go on the field. Fans are going to go to Wrigley Field. That's all there is to it. It's not going to change regardless of what type of a team they have. So Theo coming in and just doing that, and you had to implode that thing. You had to get rid of some dead weight, and you had to get rid of some maybe people wouldn't work as hard, maybe non-winners, let's say, and get some young blood in there and get some guys with little enthusiasm and want to play baseball. And even I even hark back to the Yankees this year with all the injuries. It's been unprecedented what this team has went through, and this is setting records in baseball history with all the injuries. But they've tapped into their minor league system, and sometimes those guys don't get a good look. The Yankees are more apt to trade prospects and give them a chance, but man, they've called up 4 or 5 guys this year that can flat out play the game, and I've been very impressed with what I've seen down below. So I'm not near as worried about if you have to play those guys. It's just the difference of being in the American League East versus the National League Central in one regard. But man, oh man, it's just one of them things happening. The trade deadline now, with so many teams still vying for wild card chases, man, I just don't know how much there's going to be tradable. As the first deadline comes around here at the end of the month, then you'll have a whole month of in August for waiver wires, but that's still for big ticket items. I mean, that's big salary money for those guys. And I think baseball's going to have to really look at this. If they keep this wild card, in which they will, I think they've got to look at possibly moving the basic trade deadline back a couple of weeks originally, how it used to be like the middle of August.
Well, and you take a look at some of the changes being rumored and teams that have heightened interest now. You look at the Atlanta Braves after the Tim Hudson season-ending injury the other night, of course, is EY Jr., and you give a lot of credit to the class of Eric Young Jr., of course, immediately concerned about the health of Tim Hudson after he stepped on his, looked more like direct blow to his ankle, of course. It's just one of the nastiest things I'd ever seen. Probably not up there on a Theismann or Ware level, but it was still pretty sickening. But so they obviously are down a starter. Is there an interest there? You look at some of the rumored things that people claim that the Cardinals are doing. I don't think that there was ever interest there in Alexi Ramirez. I really don't think that was ever going to happen. But why would you? Why would you risk some of these prospects who are already showing you what they can do? Why would you give up any of that for a rental?
Why are Cardinal fans so upset with Cosma and Carpenter?
Right.
I don't understand. Here's your marketed value, and this was a conversation at Golf Group yesterday, and the more I thought about it, the more it makes sense. Les Winkler brought this up. The value trade piece is not Cosma and Carpenter. It's Matt Holliday. I mean, that's the guy you can lose and trade and get something back for. Now that he got his annual injury that happens every year, I'll say this. There is no way Matt Holliday makes the catch Alan Craig made against the Padres last weekend in the game. Absolutely no way he makes that catch up against the wall. To me, that was the piece that the Cardinals were going to trade. He would have been the one to bring you back the most potential. You lose salary, you shed that a little bit, and you get some more people. Don't be upset with Cosma and Carpenter. They're doing fine. The other thing they can't keep doing, and I think they're about to the point of not doing, is building it up, holding their hopes, holding their breath that Chris Carpenter is going to come back. Folks, he's done. His arm is done. His hand, everything's done. He's gutted it out. He's gave you everything since he's been there. I'm not seeing the comeback now. If he can't be a reliever, he's just about done.
If there is numbness where there are in places where you don't need to be numb as a pitcher, it's not looking good. Of course, halted the rehab down there at Springfield after feeling that numbness, so not good for Chris Carpenter. Of course, there's many needs that need to be addressed for every team in Major League Baseball, obviously, but the Cardinals are in a pretty good position, and probably in quite some time, probably their best position without having to necessarily make a move. If the pitching they have now can just come alive slightly, you're in pretty good shape. And it's not that they've been ineffective. I mean, Lance Lynn just kind of going through that mid-season, his typical.
What will Lance Lynn and Shelby Miller give you from here on out?
Right, that's the key.
The question. What will they give you? Wainwright's going to be a beast, except for last night. What are those guys 2, 3, and 4 going to give you? Can you back that up and go from there?
Well, Shelby Miller will eventually be getting into uncharted waters with the number of pitches, the innings, and some general managers want to try to monitor that when you sort of get coddled a little bit in the minor league system with a shorter season naturally as well. Lance Lynn, last year had a great season. He slowed down at some point in time. You've seen that a little bit now that basically he's been treading water somewhat. But back to the Holiday deal. I mean, obviously, now I think Cardinal fans are understanding that it was a horrible contract for him at the time. They outbid themselves more than anything else. But the problem now is how much is this going to stunt the growth possibly of Taveras down in the minors? If you're talking about extending Beltran for another year or two, which he's already said he'd like to play 2 more years, you add him to the mix and you've got Holiday on the hook for another 3 or 4, I believe. Alan Craig, you're going to find a place for him to play, whether it's first base or outfield. And, they have plenty of outfielders, but you don't want to stunt people's growth, and supposedly Taveras is the real deal. And you eventually got to take a look at this guy and see what he's going to do at the Major League level.
Of course, now you're concerned there are injuries with Taveras. And so do you now commit to Beltran beyond this season? And at some point, the magic's going to run out, like it did with Lance Berkman's magic was there for 2011, not so much for 2012. I think you have to count your blessings with what you've gotten out of Chuck thus far, Chuck being Carlos Beltran. But who knows? I don't know the answer.
You can't sign Beltran. If you're looking to bring it's a 2-year rental. It's went well. He's probably played himself as well as priced himself out of St. Louis. I don't think you can bring him back for more than a 2-year deal, if that. Because I think you play him this year and you let him go because you want to bring Tavares up. Here's the other thing. Back to the pitching staff. Jake Westbrook, first 12 starts, good. After that, pitiful. So after Wainwright, you're depending on Lance Lynn, Shelby Miller, who are going in uncharted territories. Jake Westbrook, who, my gosh, you don't know what you're going to get day and night after him. An injured Matt Holliday, because bad hammies don't get better till the offseason. They've got questions, but they don't have a lot to trade with, so you don't want to sell the farm system out for a 1-year run. You want to keep building it, but I don't know. They need to be happy with what they got, what they're doing, because they're still a very good baseball team, and everything seems to be going just fine.
Yeah, and you take a look at their record and what they've been able to do, and then you take a look at around the rest of the league, and everybody's pretty well in the same issue, some worse than others. But you take a look at the Yankees, and we talked about it kind of jokingly before the show, but in seriousness, being happy to have a right-handed bat that is breathing, a warm body.
It's just absolutely been unbelievable. And you look at third base has been an eyesore all season long, the worst statistical position in Yankee history and in Major League Baseball. 4 home runs from the third base position. The Yankees did everything right with the A-Rod deal, knowing he was going to be hurt.
Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, I'm sending my best wishes, too. But Kevin Youkilis, ends up having back surgery. That obviously wasn't in the plans. So it's just been absolutely amazing. Very dismal in seeing the stars perform at a high level. But they're in the race, and they've got guys coming back. Jeet's playing in a simulated game today. Should be back tomorrow, maybe. Granderson is rehabbing right now. He should be back next week. So things are coming around, and we don't even need to go in the A-Rod situation. Just pull the trigger, baseball, please. Just do it. Put everybody out of their misery. The union has already said they're not backing these guys, so I don't know what Selig's waiting on. They've got 10 times more evidence on him than Braun, and you've already done it to Braun because that's your daughter's baseball team, maybe, I guess. But let's just get this mess over with.
They can't. The Yankees got here's the problem. The Yankee higher-ups have got to back off, and Brian Cashman needs to be gagged and hidden away for a few weeks. Because, to me, that's what's keeping this prolonged thing. One of the things is the Yankees brass can't keep quiet. Just sit back. You didn't hear anything out of Milwaukee going on, and Ryan Braun got busted. He's gone fishing for the rest of the year. If the Yankee brass would just back off, let baseball do its thing, let A-Rod hang himself, because right now A-Rod's that guy that thinks he knows everything. So he's going to eventually get himself caught. Let it happen. Don't be barbing back and forth. Don't go get 4 or 5 doctors. Don't say this, that, and another. It's going to happen. You just got to let it go. Hopefully MLB is taking the right steps to nail Braun, A-Rod. And again, however many other people are involved, for every Ryan Braun, there's 20 guys you don't even know about that's had this, done this, whatever. And I don't think it'll just be baseball. I think it'll be a sports across the periphery of the horizon where all sports are going to get touched by this thing, because these guys that are selling these drugs and whatnot for PEDs are going to squeal, because they're going to start telling on people, and you're going to see more names from other sports, I think, by the time this is all said and done.
Well, we caught a hint of that last week with the sprinters. Tyson Gay, and he come out again with another article yesterday about, I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, it's just, something unfortunate in a test. Well, guys, I've said this a million times. I know everything that goes into my body. All my supplements I take, I know exactly what they are. I study that stuff. There's nothing that I put in there that, nobody's going to come up behind me with a needle or anything like that. I know what those things are. And for people and professional athletes and have these trainers and nutritionists around them 24/7, that is the most lame excuse I've ever heard.
You've been to Strip Mall, Florida, though, have you? And you don't sign your name, Mike Richardson, on the paper so everybody can see it?
Wow.
I don't know. I'm one of these that, Ryan Braun has lied his way. I mean, he's unbelievable. We've all been around people. When you hear somebody tell it enough, even though it's a lie, it becomes fact. when we've been around people that deceive just to cover their carcass, to do anything to cover themselves as they go. That's another. I mean, that's Ryan Braun. That's A-Rod. That these guys.
Rafael Palmeiro.
Right. These guys are going to go down fighting, and when they're cornered, then they'll quit. Ryan Braun had nowhere to go. Okay, I'm good. Thank you, Aaron Rodgers. You owe a year's salary to somebody right now. You don't go into business with people. You cannot sit here and say today, well, this guy or gal in sports does not do it until you know for sure.
At least Braun didn't point his finger at Congress.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Kurt Schilling in his past, a Red Sox guy, can't like him. I respect him, just can't like him. But he was on a show earlier this week, and he brought that up again about Palmeiro. And he said, "Man, I'm sitting right beside this guy, and he's doing that, and I know he's lying." And how are you supposed to react to something like that when they point blank lie?
I'll give you one name, boys, and he has not been wrong yet. Jose Canseco. Let the guy come out.
Truest guy
Here
out
it is.
there.
Give him a mic and let him name him off because he has not been wrong yet on anybody involved or not. And if they've been involved, they're already out of the game. Pudge Rodriguez went from 250 to 190. He always talked about Pudge Rodriguez. Jose Canseco's never been wrong. This guy knows more, and I don't know why they won't let him do it other than they don't want him to lead the hunt.
I think that's
exactly
right.
The thing is, the sad thing for me is it's not sad in this regard because I want them all hammered. I mean, I want hammered every one of them because baseball is such a statistical game. But now we've already went to the point where some of these guys have retired. That's been juiced, and there's going to be no punishment for them. And I mean, guys, admittedly now they've come up and winked at everybody and told them about certain things, and their names continue. And there's a handful of those guys that will never be punished for this. And boy, I tell you what, line them all up, get rid of all of them, because as Pete Rose said, baseball is such a pure statistical sport. Everybody knows the numbers. I mean, there's a lot of true football fans or NBA basketball fans. They can tell you and rattle off some stats. But if you're a baseball person, buddy, you know every stat. You know all your numbers. You know everything there is to know about America's greatest game.
Until baseball hammers them, kids are going to look at this and go, okay, Ryan Braun's got $130 million. Mm-hmm. He's out the rest of this year, 62 games. That's $3.4 million he loses. That's still $127 million he's going to get.
Comes back spring training, ready to roll.
15 through 18, or if you're in the minors, of course, it'd be harder now to do it now with all this drug testing obviously going on. But if you're a kid, doing that, you get caught and you already got that big deal. Like, what's $3 million when you're guaranteed $130? But until that penalty is stiffer to say, okay, for example, you're missing 60 games, you're going to lose 60% of your contract, or a percentage based on pay. These guys are going to do it because there would hardly be anybody that wouldn't say, I'd take the risk to get the big contract, to get the guaranteed money, but if I got caught, I'll just admit it, and like Ryan Brown, I'll talk when I can. Well, great. No matter what you say is not going to work, but he's sitting there at home counting his money. He's still going to get $127 million.
What I do like right now that it's coming out and more players are being open, and I blame the clean baseball players from a few years ago that didn't want to get involved. But as I'm hearing now, more of the guys that are clean are fed up with this, and they're going to baseball, and they're going to the meetings, and they're telling their stories now of what they've seen and what they know. So that's got to help. But the problem, again, is going to relate. We're talking about steroids, and HGH is still on the horizon. HGH right now is still being used by Major League Baseball players, football players, the whole bit, until they get 100% testing through blood testing through baseball with HGH. It's still going to be happening, and there's players right now that will be in the lineups today that are on HGH.
All sports.
We're talking baseball and track and field. It's in every sport there is. It's in golf. It's in bowling. It's in track and field. It's in swimming. It's in the Olympics. It's everywhere because it's a drug, and it's the greatest drug ever made, but it's illegal for sports activities. And it's a bad deal in every sport.
The sport you never hear because it's not as big of a deal is hockey. I mean, it's prevalent everywhere.
Sure.
And obviously, hockey is a different thing to where guys can go into that sport a little bit longer in the tooth. But for some of the ones who have come back for some of the things they've come back from, I mean, it's everywhere.
For years, they had the greenies and the reds in the
totally.
60s and
Absolutely.
70s. The guys that say MLB, there's no cheating going on before now, they had the greenies and reds. You know, you'd be on a bus trip, train trip, flight, get back in, go out at night, come back, have to kick something in. I mean, it's your 5-hour energy. But, you know, until these guys, you know, again, the professional athletes are positive, if you think about it. I'm going to be able to do this. I can handle this career. I can do all these things. I'm good to go. They got people surrounding them to tell them you can do this. Then when they're done, that's when the stuff hits. Oh, you know, everything's over. Guys like Brian Braun will continue to lie. They're the worst kind of liars when they can look at people and say something or throw the guy who actually had to go collect his urine and throw him under the bus, lose his job.
Is there a lawsuit pending on that deal?
I would hope so.
I would hope so, because that guy got ran in the mud.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Because Ryan Braun and Aaron Rodgers were talking about, and that guy lost everything, and now he's got to come back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was the first thing when all this broke. That's the guy I was thinking about.
That guy and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. But then the problem you have in, too, if you do have a lawsuit with him trying to get his job back and his money back, the lawyers are going to have so much of that money, he won't see much of it at all. But, you know, it's just one of them tough deals. But that's one of the first guys in after that, you know, like I said, Matt Rogers. Oh, my. Yeah, that's a tough one when you're in business with somebody like that.
Yes, it is. And plenty more of that to come over the future weeks. Of course, our football previews will begin on Saturday, August the 10th. In a couple of weeks, we'll start talking about the Black Diamond, the River to River, the South 7, and so much more. Also, a great show lined up for you next week here. You'll want to tune in after the 8 o'clock news next week, of course, here on AM 940 and WMIXsports.com. Before we get to any of that, of course, the Kelly Lewis Memorial Poker Run will be Saturday, August the 10th. It'll begin at Dale's Harley-Davidson at 11 o'clock. That's Saturday, August the 10th. At Dale's Harley-Davidson, you'll roll through Woodlawn, New Minden, Sandoval, back here to Mount Vernon, of course. All proceeds go to childhood cancer research, a great cause, and, of course, lost Kelly not that long ago, unfortunately, and what a tremendous battle that she had. But proceeds will go to childhood cancer research, and certainly a great cause and worth supporting on Saturday, August the 10th at 11 o'clock at Dale's Harley-Davidson. That said, we hope you'll tune in next week here for the Saturday Sports Show. Great show already lined up for you. Our football previews begin also on Saturday, August the 10th, and roll right into high school football season. Of course, we'll have some volleyball scheduling coming your way over the next few weeks. We'll have it all at WMIXsports.com. We hope you'll check out that. Also, follow us on Twitter to stay up to date. We're at WMIX Sports. We're on Facebook as well, Facebook.com/WMIX Sports. For Mike Richardson and Danny Zerwinski, thank you for taking the time to tune in today. Of course, I'm Chris Hugo. We've appeared courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital, who brings you the show each and every week here on WMIX, and we appreciate that. So again, thank you for taking the time to join us here today. Stay tuned. We're coming back next week, same time, same dial location, same web address. It's all at WMIXsports.com and right here on WMIX Mount Vernon. A free service from Withers Broadcasting. NBC News is